packed up a real money load and it's coming your way.
Inside man on shipping heist crew risks everything by openly talking about the theft at his workplace.
Considering no one heard him, I'd say this doesn't matter.
Honking truck driver is oblivious to obvious heist.
I wouldn't say it was obvious until this guy pulled the gun out. And what is the truck driver supposed to do? He doesn't have a way to defend himself like the driver at the end of this movie.
Truck just happens to have clearance to accommodate a car driving underneath.
Some trailers have this. Oh, wait, this is just sending convenience again, right? You know, it sure is convenient this construction site is happening, giving the audience a tense scene and a cool stunt. See, I can do that too.
Synchronized driving.
Pointing things out on the screen.
Also, no one in LA is driving around today, just these assholes.
How often do you see cars driving in a neighborhood, which is where they are right now?
Okay, so according to Mia, Brian has been coming to this restaurant every day for 3 weeks, but this dickhead Vince is just now getting pissed off about it?
Judging by this line from one of Vince's friends,
I love this part. Yo!
I'd say this isn't the first time.
Cliche villain is cliche.
I mean, yeah, Vince is a jerk here, but I would hardly call him a villain. I mean, he's been working with Dom the whole movie, including the heist and the climax, and he almost died, forcing Brian to call for paramedics. That doesn't sound like a villain to me.
Just can't climb in the ring with all the eight because you think you box?
He knows I can box.
Yeah, he knows that you can hit him in the face, but we're talking about racing, right?
Guys, Jeremy Scott just took a metaphor literally. Yes, they're talking about racing, and this guy's point is that Brian can't just jump into a race without knowing how to. The fact that I have to explain this is truly amazing.
What the hell's going on?
The only person who is inconvenienced by all this is a pizza delivery guy, and I suspect only because the movie had a tie-in with Pizza Hut.
How do you know that? The movie only shows this one scene and that's it. Maybe some other people tried to get through off screen. I think that's 100% possible, but the movie didn't show you because it's not important for this scene. This one is enough to get the point across.
I got a 187 in Glendale. Cops are all over it, man. We're good to...
Murder. It's fantastic. Also, one murder is enough to tie up all of LAPD's forces so that the illegal and super loud street race can take place.
Judging by what I've heard about cops being late for stuff, I can buy this. Plus, I feel like figuring out a murder is more serious than some traffic jam.
Wait, his car's still running? There was white smoke coming from under the hood, which I usually take as a bad sign. I mean, look at this. You're telling me this car can even run when it does this?
There were a few sins that the comment section on this video pointed out, so I wanted to mention them and not come off as if I'm stealing them. For this sin, I found 2 comments that said that only the NOS overheated. The car itself is fine.
Units, we have reported street racing along Hawthorne.
Now wait just a damn minute. Earlier during the race, we saw them driving past 120th Street. And the police dispatcher says they're on Hawthorne, which puts them roughly here. Like 3 blocks from LAX. There's no way in hell these streets would be this deserted or that it would take anywhere near this long for the racing to be reported to the cops.
I don't have anything to say about this sin. However, at the top of the screen when you pull up the map, both the sin count and timer disappear.
Did anything really happen to Brian's car? He can still get into a high-speed chase with this thing?
Double dipping.
This station wagon honks its horn at Brian's car, but the station wagon has a red light, which makes it all the more stupid when the station wagon guy honks at a cop and runs into his car.
Hey, I've seen people on the road do some really stupid stuff. I can totally believe this.
These pictures.
Pointing things out on the screen.
You can have any brew you want, as long as it's a Corona.
Roll credits. Oh, wait, this is a movie, not a beer commercial.
We barely even focus on the drink, so I'd say this is a really weak commercial if it was trying to be. Also, since you earlier mentioned Pizza Hut being in this, do you have a problem with product placements or something?
Hey bro, you got a bathroom?
You're upstairs, first door on the right.
2-story house has no bathroom on the first floor.
You say that as if that's unrealistic, but if you did a quick Google search, you'll see this is actually true for some houses.
So this guy owns a restaurant, a house, a professional auto garage, and wins constantly at street racing. What the f*** does he have to be stealing shit for again?
Money!
Makes for a cool shot, but no one who is truly putting a car together would buy all the parts at once, open them from their packaging, and lay them out on the ground like this. It's gonna take more than an afternoon to use all these parts.
Actually, that's exactly what people do.
You know, I think we should go out sometime.
No, I don't date my brother's friends.
But I do make myself look good for them if they happen to show up to a party and I wasn't expecting them.
Probably because she likes him?
He mows like a cop.
So Toretto somehow knew Brian was going to do something coppish? So he agreed to let the hothead tail him even though he's been pissed at the hothead for hating Brian all movie?
He's a cop.
I know we need to create some dramatic tension, but all Brian did was break into a garage. How on earth did hothead guy jump to the conclusion that he's a cop? Do criminals never break and enter? Is that something only cops do?
You literally just played Vince saying that Brian moans like a cop. And judging the fact that Brian didn't steal anything like a thief would, I'd say this is the right assumption.
There's no engines. What are they planning on racing with? Hopes and dreams?
Yep, hopes and dreams. They couldn't possibly be putting new engines in later, or as we find out in a second, someone stole them.
Are you expecting Dom to come to either of those conclusions that fast? And if they were replacing them, I don't think they'd leave them like this. When the sin count goes from 46 to 47 right here, it disappears for a quick second. Who edited this video?
A garage full of DVD players and generally psychotic behavior. And tell me why we shouldn't move on Johnny Tran right now and see.
Can the FBI arrest someone based on the illegal break-in of an undercover cop? I mean, why not make everyone an undercover cop if you can just break into any place and find evidence?
Read this comment, please.
I watched my dad burn to death.
Main character had a dad who died doing the same cliche.
I know people think of Dominic Toretto as the main character of the Fast and Furious franchise, but I wouldn't say that with this first film. Instead, Brian is the main character, as he's the one who drives the plot forward, has the biggest arc, and makes the hard decision at the end.
He's made his decision. We're going to move on Johnny Tran and his guys at 1700 hours.
Why so long? That's like 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Probably so they can gather all the agents and come up with their plan for the break-in.
This event is too large and too illegal to ever actually be pulled off without cops descending to arrest everyone.
You know race wars is real and legal, right? Right?
No, don't give me that crap. We're doing this for you.
There is no way Brian could plainly hear this from this distance inside a motorhome while techno music blasts outside.
I knew it! I freaking knew it! When I was rewatching this movie and got to this scene, I knew that CinemaSins would say this. Brian isn't hearing them. The dialogue is for the audience's sake. Brian simply sees Dom and Mia arguing, Dom driving off, and then he goes to ask Mia what he's driving off for.
Yeah, I guess no one ever comes up here to this sewage treatment plant or whatever it is. They definitely wouldn't report the suspicious cars parked outside.
Civics are stashed somewhere outside of Thermal.
So normally when Dom and his crew have to get the cars, they have to make the 2-hour drive from LA to Thermal?
Why wasn't there a sin added here? Like, what's the point of saying this if it's not added to the sin counter?
We shouldn't be doing this without Jesse.
And what did Jesse do? You have 3 cars. Someone basically plays passenger the whole time anyway.
Jesse would have driven instead of Letty. And she's saying it feels wrong to not have him on the team just because he's friends with them.
With this rash of truck robberies happening, why do any truck drivers go down this stretch of road? And with no partners or help?
This particular driver has a freaking shotgun. And this mission ultimately fails, so I'd say he doesn't need backup.
Look, this is the exact same way they've been jacking trucks the whole movie. Isn't it about time the truck drivers put something in the front seat to prevent this, like a mannequin or a stack of books?
Again, this guy has a shotgun. He was clearly waiting for this to happen so he could shoot Vince.
Son of a bitch!
I know, what a dick, defending his truck and...
She's reacting to almost dying. Like, how is that not obvious? The number at the top disappears again.
This truck driver sees 2 souped-up cars speeding down the street and says, yep, probably safe to pull out in traffic.
Again, I've seen cars pull out when it's not their turn. This is realistic.
Cop lets bad guy go, and the movie treats it like an act of heroism.
I wouldn't call it heroism, more so friendship. Brian and Dom are friends now, and Brian understands that Dom isn't 100% a villain. Not all main characters have to be straight up good guys.
End credit scene used to tease a sequel stars the one guy who won't be in the next 2 sequels.
This isn't a sequel tease. It's just showing what Dom is up to after Brian let him go. Not to mention, he was at the end of Tokyo Drift, so that's technically not true.
Also, despite a highly probable warrant for his arrest, Dom makes it into Mexico with no problem.
Thanks to this guy for saying this. Honestly, I should read the comments for these videos more often. They're like a Watch Mojo video, more entertaining than the actual video.
Remember when the series was about stealing DVD players? Ah, good times.